Welcome to Envisioned Broadcasting Radio. EB Radio. EB Radio. Your station for empowerment presents Mom Boss Talk Radio, a show that brings real life, real moms, and real experiences to empower mom bosses everywhere to be ambitious, highly driven, fierce, fabulous, and fearless. Mom Boss Talk Radio begins now.
Welcome, mom bosses all over the world. It's another amazing Thursday, and that means it's time for another great discussion with the mom bosses. I am so happy, elated that you are joining. This show is three mom bosses bringing you real life, real experiences to empower you as a mom boss. I am one of your hosts, Monyetta, and Jerisha and Kiana. They will join us in future episodes. You know, mom life don't stop. Okay, mom life be going. They are handling business, and myself, even though I have a heavy, hectic schedule, I'm like, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. Okay, let me check on the girls. How is your mental health? Like, seriously, like, how are you doing? Are you optimistic? Like, how are you feeling deep down? Are you having hard days? Are you having, okay days? Let's really talk about it, because I'm pretty sure this month and, months prior has been hectic, especially with all the craziness that's going on in the world. And I'm just going to, touch on it briefly because it does affect women. Roe versus Wade and the situation that is going on with them trying to overturn abortions. I'm not going to get too deep into it. However, I do want to, reiterate that also is a cause for mental health stress, because a lot of women are really going through it. They're scared. They are, they're worried. They're scared. They're unsure. Um, being told that their freedoms are that may be, snatched away from them. Who wants that type of stress in their lives? So I definitely wanted to kind of bring that up. I'm not going to dive too deep into it. But you definitely should do your research, look up what is going on, Roe versus Wade, and really, do what you can to support women, their women's voices, women's rights to have full autonomy over their body and their own personal decisions. Definitely look into that. Because I was like, something, I wanted to kind of touch base on mental health, kind of keep you guys updated on what I have, dealt with, and maybe some ways to kind of cope with, especially with how the world is today, not only with the Roe versus Wade, but with, the economy, climate change, the craziness and inflation and, all the things that has been going on, the pandemic, everything that's been going on has definitely been heavy. And I am so well aware that is not easy right now for anyone. Either it be you with children or single, it does not matter. It is hurting us. And I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to kind of bring to light, things that are going on and maybe things that can help you kind of get through this, or at least cope the best of your ability to it. I always love a powerful quote. And I wanted to kind of read one. Give yourself permission to unplug and regroup without feeling guilty. You can't be there for others if you don't take care of yourself first. And I think we're all well aware of that, that, you know, we're no good to others if we're no good to ourselves. And even in this climate, even though it is really hard to even catch a break, you know, it feels like you're drowning constantly with the world being how it is. It's always something around the corner. It's always something. And, you know, either it being sickness or something that may ultimately take away your rights, your personal individual rights. It's all scary. It's draining. Oh, it is so freaking draining. Because, like, I'm pretty sure, just like, you know, myself, you're seeing all these things on your timeline. And it's like you can't really escape it unless you like really put your phone down or you put your laptop away. Um, and we're so we so much rely on technology nowadays that it's like second nature. It's like a limb at this point. For a lot of people, for most people, technology is like a limb that you don't want to get rid of because you feel like it's a helpful limb. And yes, there are some great resources and tools when it comes to technology. Um, but let me just say this. So I quit my job in February. Big resignation, right? Um, and so I was off. I took some time off, not long enough. Oh God, not long enough. Because as soon as I took off, my whole family got sick and was sick for like a month, and I was off for about a month and a half. So that says a lot, right? And while I was off, I fell into like this depressive state, trying to figure out my next move, trying to figure out life in general. And just on my phone, scrolling away. And you know, on your phone, it gives you like a summary of your consumption, right? And it said that I was on my phone 34 more hours than normal, or you know, that's typical, you know, like it was like so over. I'm like, 34 hours more, which makes sense because, you know, if you're working, you're not on your phone. So, of course, you know, you take away those hours that, you know, but I'm like 34 hours of consuming social media. And it was just scrolling, nothing to like, there were some things that may, you know, help me, guide me, and, you know, but for the most part, it was just nothingness, nothing really stimulating, mentally stimulating. It's just there to kill time. And then I got mad at myself for even not, you know, for not putting in that time toward all of my endeavors. But I was so depressed and so anxiety ridden that I couldn't do anything other than just lay here and just thinking away of what I should do with my life. It's like, for me, it's like you get one life. And I'm like, I want to live it to the fullest. But it's like, how, especially now, you know, how am I going to get another house? How am I going to get, you know, I'm like, I need a job that's going to pay really well, you know, for me to even be able to get a house. But the housing market is so trash. It's like, how, you know, you're going to be overbidding for houses that, you know, so it's like craziness. So my mind is constantly working, or not working, but constantly thinking and overthinking, and just like, oh my goodness, I'm like trying to think of the best move and the best path to go down. And then I put my phone down I'm like, what is happening? I know you were not on this phone for 34 more hours than normal. The things you could have done within that time frame to help you elevate, push yourself. And then I felt so bad. I felt so ashamed. I'm like, "Oh my goodness, what am I doing? What am I doing?" And so I'm back working. Um More so contracted. I enjoy doing contracted work because it kind of gives me the freedom to decide if an employer is worth me staying or not, and then I can just switch it up with no real penalty on my resume when you really think about it. I don't have to add all of these jobs. I'm under one company and I can just kind of move like that. That's why I enjoy contract work. But now I'm kind of like, okay, it's okay that you missed that time. You needed it. Apparently, your body said you need to slow down. You need to just think. Mental health is no joke. Mental health will put you through the ringer. I'm still searching for a good therapist. Um, because I feel like I'm not being properly diagnosed or, kind of dismissed in what I feel. So I'm trying to find someone who you know, can truly understand where my mind is. It's like I understand, with all the things, I'm giving myself permission to be okay to just chill out. Because in my head, I have this like huge obsession with like time, time, time. And I'm like, okay, I have to get up early, but my body says no. Like, oh, I want to start this routine, but my body says no. It's like I want this in my head to reflect reality. And I know it can be done, but it's like how do you connect the dots for it to really be a a smooth running train? Like, how can I make sure the tracks are right? You know, me being the conductor and making sure I get to each station on time, meet my deadline. It's hard when your brain and your body and your emotions do not connect. That's why I'm an avid mental health like advocate, because I'm like, I know how it feels. And then just looking at other people, just seeing their faces, I can see their pain, I can see their happiness, I can feel their energy. I feel all of that. And sometimes, and I hate to say it, sometimes their energy kind of jumps onto me and I feel that pain. It's like I can't do anything to help them. I wish I could, but I'm like, me being empathetic and sympathetic, that's a win, right? That's a big win. Like learning yourself, learning your wants, your needs, your your hates, your dislikes, knowing who you are in all aspects can really help balance your mental health, because then you can avoid the things that you dislike and you hate. You can put boundaries. Boundaries, that's the word. That is the word for today. Boundaries. You can set those boundaries to make sure that you are living your life the best way possible, even with mental health. Mental health is not a trend. Okay, mental health is just not, it's gonna come and go. No, mental health is not a facade. Mental health is real. And there's a lot of people who struggle with it, and there's a lot of people who still do not get help, either because they're afraid to, or either because they've tried and was let down so many times, or because they can't afford it. Because even with like the online platforms for mental health therapy, counseling, and things of that nature, those can still be expensive. And especially with the inflation, it is expensive. It's like $65 a week is still expensive. Then you got to think of all the other bills you have to pay. I don't think people who make a lot of money, or like let's say the top 1% or top 1 to 3% of people who have a lot of money, they don't understand you making, you know, uh making $1,000 a week, but that's not your, you know, your overall pay. Like taxes has to come out, then healthcare, if you opt into healthcare, but then you have to have healthcare, because if you don't, you're not going to get treatment. It's like a whole cycle when it comes to healthcare. But like you're not really making that much after everything is took out, and then on top of the bills that you may have, and that's just electricity, gas, water, you know all, and just those alone, even if you don't have like the splurges, it's still a lot. Mental health costs a lot. And then if you're put on medication, I was put on medication several times. Several times. It was not cheap. Even back in the day, it was not cheap. And, you know, and it didn't work for me. It may work for others, but it did not work for me. My body did not agree with medication at all. It's like, okay, let me just kind of set the tone of what it felt like. So I can say that the medication had a similar effect of taking, like, let's say taking like 4 melatonin, but you have to stay up. It's like you're so sluggish, like you're just like zombie-esque, like you're just a zombie, and your body is just like you want to just collapse, but you just can't. You have to live your life. And then plus all the other side effects that I had to deal with, headaches and other stuff, but it was not good for me at all. I felt so off. So off. But I'm like, this topic is amazing. Mental health um should really be like a top topic within society. um because for the longest time we've kind of brushed it under the rug, or like made it seem like it didn't exist, or made it seem like people who had mental health issues were crazy, and that was not the case. Not at all. So we just have to do better. I think it's slowly, especially in the Black community, slowly becoming important, but we have a long ways to go. A long ways to go. But I'm hoping that you're fine. I'm hoping that you're okay. I hope that you are able to be optimistic. I'm hoping that you have some type of support. But if you feel like you don't, definitely call, um, you know, specific hotlines within your area. You can also Google those. If you need someone to talk to, just to, if you're feeling to that point. Also, if you need support, definitely holla at your girl, because I am all for supporting and empowering and just, helping others kind of figure out their mental state. Um, Always, going to Mom Boss Talk Radio Facebook group. We have discussions. I'm always posting over there. Yeah, join the family. Okay, I would really, really appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm hoping you enjoyed this episode. I'm glad you tuned in. We are Mom Bosses on a mission to empower moms all over the world. Remember to be ambitious, okay? Highly driven, fierce, fabulous, and fearless. You're making moves. You got this.
Thank you for joining us on Mom Boss Talk Radio. Follow each of the Mom Bosses on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you love Mom Boss Radio, visit the website at www.envisionedbroadcasting.com. We'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and give a review on iTunes. Until next time.